Questions for Coach Stevens? Start with Keith Smith.
Brad, they had, I think, 60 points in the paint tonight. Is that more on the perimeter defense breaking down and letting guys getting in there, or lack of an interior presence, bit of both?
That's a good question. I mean, I think you'll be able to look at the film and say that, I think there's improvement that can be made in all those areas. But I thought our perimeter defense, was made it really hard on our paint defense. Our guys protecting us, either rotating over or in pick and roll. There were a couple times where our bigs certainly got beat off the bounce and those type of things. But, I'm not sure that we had a huge impact on them, on the ball. Certainly not the way that they impacted us, I felt like.
John Corrales.
Brad, there seems to be an issue even after makes getting back in transition, like teams, and these guys did it to you a little bit early tonight, pushing and getting attempts at the rim after you guys make a basket. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's an area that has to improve if you're going to have any chance of being a good team. Obviously, our defensive numbers have continued to go up, but it's just such a small margin for error for being a good defense and not. And, those baskets kill you, right? And so we have to do a better job of that. There's no doubt about that. I feel like there's been more of those this year in 28 games or whatever it is than there was in how many we play last year? 74.
Matt Vitor.
Brad, you talked last night about the weighing rest versus practice. After tonight, do you take a different approach?
No, I mean, you don't practice after back-to-backs. Not physically, like nobody does that, and it doesn't make sense for the short or long term. Your best option is for guys to come in and get treatment, small meetings, be together, just on individual basis. We'll get back together Friday morning, and we'll go over a game plan for Friday night. That'll obviously be a little different, because you want to change things. You want to treat this like an opportunity to look at a team like in a second game of a playoff series, those types of things. And obviously, I don't know if they'll have some new guys available, but we will. And so there'll be some changes there.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, what did you think of your coverage tonight of Trae Young? I mean, obviously he's capable of these kind of games, but should you have trapped? Is it tough when you don't have that tough on-ball defender for point guards? I mean, how handcuffed are you in these situations?
Well, I mean, I thought that we tried a bunch of different guys on him. Obviously we switch a lot to try to guard the 3-point line on the other guys, to take away pops, to take away, opportunities for him to turn the corner and then either spray it for lobs or spray it around. And at times I thought we did a decent job of that. We also missed some, and he made us pay when we missed. And so there are points, I go back to the Embiid game. I thought the Jokic game last night was a little different, right? Like he did some stuff that I thought we guarded him about as well as you could guard a guy. But then today, it was like the Embiid game, right? If he gets 42, it crushes you. If he gets 30, you're right there. And I think that that's more what you were looking at with Trae. We tried all our guards, our guys off the bench, all on him. And, he's just a tough cover.
Adam Himmelsbach.
Brad, Jeff hasn't played much at all the last few games. Is that kind of what you're just referring to, or you're just trying to give it another shot with somebody who might be a little familiar with Trae? And then after Peyton picked up his fifth, the decision just kind of not to go back to him. It seemed like he was out for really quite a while afterwards.
Well, part of that was the matchup, right? I mean, I think that obviously in the first half, Peyton scored it a little bit. He was also, they were targeting him a little bit. And so that's a great experience for him because he's getting some of that. So he's going to have to learn to deal with that. And then Jeff, I thought Jeff, just as far as those individual possessions when he was guarding Trae in the pick and roll, was probably as good as anybody we've had guarding him in the pick and roll. Obviously, there's some give and take there. But Peyton wouldn't have lasted long with those 5 fouls if he kept guarding Trae Young going back into the game.
Final question for Coach Jared Weiss.
So another follow-up on talking about Trae. When he's drawing a lot of fouls on the ground and you see your defenders are kind of concerned about putting too much pressure because they're worried they're going to get a foul call, does that affect how, what kind of scheme you're using and whether you want to send two at the ball?
Very difficult. Makes it very difficult. It's the hardened stuff, right? Where you in an ideal world, you make those people uncomfortable, right? And you keep them off balance and you're physical and you're into them. And when they have all the tricks and have the ball on a string and, self out, I think that at the end of the day, it's hard. Like, it's just hard to put pressure on those guys. So then you decide, do you want to guard him normal and take away everybody else? Do you want to try to run at him? Do you want to zone? We tried a little bit of all of that. None of it all that successful.
We'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.